today's Monday message. So, Abby, tell us about yourself.
I am 10 years old and going into 5th grade.
10 years old, going to the 5th grade. And where do you live the majority of the year?
Kansas.
Kansas! That's so far away. How are you in Pasadena?
I'm visiting my grandma.
Visiting Grandma. We're so lucky to have Abby and her brothers and sisters and her mom here for the summer. And Abby had an amazing idea. Tell me what your idea was for our Monday message today.
To do the story of Abigail.
And so we found the story of Abigail here in our Adventure Bible, and that's what we're going to share today. Abby's namesake, Abigail. Little helper down here says, special women deserve praise. I agree. Special women do deserve praise.
Yes, they do.
So here in the Bible, we learn about David praising Abigail. So we're going to read this little snippet here.
It says, Abigail is a famous woman in the Bible. Read 1 Samuel 25, 1 through 19, 35 through 42. How can you tell from this Bible story that she was both brave and wise? When David saw how special Abigail was, he did two things. He thanked God for her, verse 32, and praised Abigail for her good judgment, verse 33.
Fantastic job, guys. Well, I think we should just dive right in.
Yeah. Now Samuel died. All of Israel has remembered and mourned for him. And they burned him at his home in Ramah. Is that what this is?
Ramah.
Then David moved down into the desert of Paran.
Mm-hmm.
A certain man in Maon, who had property there at Carmel, was very wealthy. He had 1,000 goats and 3,000 sheep, which he was sharing in Carmel. His name was Nabal, and his wife's name was Abigail. She was an intelligent and beautiful woman, but her husband was
Surly.
and mean in his dealings. He was a
Calebite.
While David was in the wilderness, he heard that Nabal was shearing sheep. So he sent 10 young men and said to them, Go up to Nabal at Carmel and greet him. In my name, say to him, long life to you, good health to you and your household, and good health to all that is yours. Now I hear that it is sheep shearing time. When your shepherds were with us, we did not mistreat them, and the whole time they were at Carmel, nothing of theirs was missing. Ask your own servants, and they will tell you. Therefore, be favorable toward my men, since we come at a festive time. Please give your servants and your son David whatever you can find for them. When David's men arrived, they gave Nabal the message in David's name. Then they waited. Nabal answered David's servants, Who is David? Who is this son of Jesse? Many servants are breaking away from their masters these days. Why should I take my bread and water and the meat I have slaughtered for my shearers and give it to men coming from who knows where? David's men turned around and went back. When they arrived, they reported every word. David said to his men, Each of you strap on your swords. So they did. And David strapped on his as well. About 400 men went up with David, while 200 stayed with supplies. One of the servants told Abigail, Nabal's wife, David sent messengers from the wilderness to give our master his greetings, but he hurled insults at them. Yet these men were very good to us. They did not mistreat us, and the whole time we were out in the fields near them, nothing was missing. Night and day they were all a wall around us the whole time we were herding our sheep in them. Now think it over and see what you can do, because disaster is coming over our master and his whole household. He is such a wicked man that no one can talk to him. Abigail acted quickly. She took 200 loaves of bread, 2 skins of wine, 5 dressed sheep, 5 seas of roasted grain, 100 cakes of raisins, and 200 cakes of pressed figs, and loaded them on donkeys. She told her servants, Go on ahead, I will follow you. But she did not tell her husband Nabal.
Wonderful. We're going to take a pause.
David accepted from her hand what she had brought him and said, Go home in peace. I have heard your words and granted your request. When Abigail went to Nabal, he was in the house holding a banquet like that of a king. He was in high spirits and very drunk. She told him nothing at all until daybreak. Then in the morning she went when Nabal was sober. Sober.
Meaning not drunk anymore. Yeah, so the wine wore off and he's now kind of sound sober mind.
His wife told him all these things, and his heart failed him, and he became like a stone. About 10 days later, the Lord struck Nabal, and he died. When David heard that Nabal was dead, he said, "Praise to be the Lord, who has upheld my cause against Nabal for treating me with contempt. He has kept his servants from doing wrong, and has brought Nabal's wrongdoing down on his own head." Then David sent word to Abigail, asking her to become his wife.
Oh, really?
His servants went to Carmel and said to Abigail, "David has sent us to ask you to become his wife." She bowed down with her face to the ground and said, "I am your servant, and I am ready to serve you and wash the feet of my Lord's servants." Abigail quickly got on a donkey and attended by her 5 female servants, went to David's messengers and became his wife.
Wow! So, can you recap that story for us, Abigail? So, in your own words, recap to us the life of Abigail.
Well, Abigail was a bad guy's wife, and when the good guy came and asked the bad guy for help, for food, the bad guy jumped at him, and then Abigail went over because the good guys were going to try and kill the bad guys. So Abigail went over to the good guys and with a whole bunch of food, and then
she said, "Please, please, don't decimate me and my people." Okay.
And then she went home, and
because David accepted what she brought him, and he said, "Go in peace." So, who's the good guy?
David.
And who's the bad guy?
Nabal,
right? And Nabal was Abigail's husband. Okay, so what happens? Okay, so...
And then David asked his messengers to go ask Abigail if they smoochies.
If they smoochies. But something happened to Nabal. So when Abigail got home, after basically saving Nabal's life, telling David to, hold off, and Abigail got home, Nabal was throwing this big festival, right? A banquet. All this food and just sort of living and he was drunk. And he had too much wine. And so when Abigail waited for the next morning when he was sober, she told him what happened. He was so shocked that he turned to stone. And then 10 days later, what happened?
He died.
He just died.
Yeah.
And what did David say? David didn't kill him. Who kind of struck him down?
He thanked the Lord.
He thanked the Lord. The Lord handled it for David. And then David found out, oh, that girl Abigail's not married anymore? Maybe I can marry her.
And he goes, "Smoochy kids."
The end. Thank you, Abigail. Now we know about your namesake.
Yeah.
Tell all the kids goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.